a lot of people don't like Trump because of his attitude. And I tell them, look, I'd rather put up with his attitude and have him take care of actually America, because that's what he's making. He's making America first. That's what any leader should have for their country, to benefit their own people. I mean,
it's a very old slogan, even under this bell from this church, a national symbol is also written "America First." It's a very old slogan. It's not just Trump. That means all these structures here in Germany, the media, the German administration, the European Union, they're all not friends of the United States, but they are just affiliated to the to the Democratic Party only.
Well, let's be honest. The leftist media is controlling most of the airwaves. Okay.
Yes.
Fox has even gone left to a great extent. Besides, you know, I think his name is Tucker, and a few other conservative reporters, journalists that are there on Fox, and I'll watch them, but in most cases I won't watch Fox anymore. And even the Republicans, I don't even trust. The majority of the Republicans are in it for themselves, are in it for, you know, the big corporations. That's why you're seeing a lot of these smaller businesses are shut down. But if you see it, you see a lot of Walmart that are open, Home Depot. It's like a Bauhaus. If you don't know what that is, Home Depot. It's like your version of the Bauhaus, pretty much. And these big corporations are open. These are, excuse me.
Yeah. What shall I call you? You can call me Hendra.
Okay. Yes.
And your name is
Terry.
Terry. Okay.
Yeah, Terry Holstenberg.
Yeah, we are a good generation because
we're the last of the good generation. That's the thing. Sorry to cut you off.
Our time was different. I was born in the jungle of Indonesia, and I came to Germany when I was 4 years old.
Hey, apa kabar?
Ya, baik, terima kasih. Kabar baik.
Sama-sama.
Sama-sama. It's good. Yeah, you speak Indonesian.
No, I speak a few words. See, that's what I was telling you. I speak, you know, here and there, a few ice-breaking words. But yeah, I have friends from all over, man. I've been to 62 countries already.
No worry. Indonesian is just it's an invented language. So if you learn it a few weeks, you can speak it better than most native Indonesians.
Right. Well, I would hope so. Yeah. No, because I think Malaysia speaks the same language, right? And Brunei,
Very
I think.
Similar. Yeah.
So it's, I think, different dialect, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Same language, different dialect.
It's harder, and Brunei is just a little. Actually, all was an empire from Majapahit a few hundred years ago, for 700 years ago until now, and the king of Malaysia, the Sultan, and from Brunei, they were all little kingdoms created by the empire of Majapahit. But I wanted to come to another point. First of all, Indonesia was interesting because Ahmed Sukarno, the creator of the nation, he didn't want the United Nations. So Indonesia has never been part of the United Nations.
Okay.
And he was also against this federal money system, federal reserve system. And he created the League of Non-Alliance, none of the bloc-free states. So neither part of the Western Union, of the NATO, nor of the Warsaw Pact of the USSR. Yeah, with Tito from Yugoslavia.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. That's good to know.
Yeah, but he was 1965. He was. I mean, I'm a politician's child. Many politicians from the Indonesian side are politicians, and Germany too. And 1992, when I was very young, here in Munich in a theater, I was a guest. My father and me, we were guests when Helmut Kohl, our chancellor, got the gold medal from B'nai B'rith. And
oh,
B'nai
wow.
B'rith, yeah, B'nai B'rith 1992, they gave it to Helmut Kohl, Henoch Cohen, and of course he's Jewish or an Ashkenaz.
Right, right.
Because he's in a war with three people, Henoch Cohen, Helmut Kohl, Menachem Begin, and Ben Gurion. Only these three people ever got this medal awarded. And when internet came, 1996, don't worry, the circle is still around Trump, the Democrats, and the Republicans, yeah? Mm-hmm. This is just the background. When internet was new, 1996, the first time I think Bill Clinton became president. And you know that it was the Clinton Computer Security Act of 1996 that allowed the US government to enter all technologies, software or hardware. Hard encryption was illegal, and they always had a back key for the NSA. And this goes back to the CSA 1996, the Clinton Computer Security Act of 1996.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he is the one. And if I talk about the Democratic National Party, I'm talking about the Clinton administration, because Bill Clinton, and of course later his wife, they created an administration for the Democratic Party that endorsed the influence of B'nai B'rith entirely. And in 1996, when internet was there, we went to the website of B'nai B'rith, and there it was a web page, simple at these times, but there was a speech. It was from Bill Clinton, the Abraham Lincoln Memorial, in front of the Abraham Lincoln Memorial, and the name of the speech was "Who Are We?" And it was referring to B'nai B'rith. And when we were entering the website of B'nai B'rith, at these days, they were very proud to pronounce and to claim that they had almost any representative and senate, not directly under their control, but under their influence. And that if you were Jewish and member of B'nai B'rith, you could directly contact your representative or later a senate, and all the information, the contact information, telephone number, address, office address, of course, of the representatives, was disclosed on the B'nai B'rith webpage for members. I was calling myself Jack Daniels just for fun, and I pretended to be Jew and member of B'nai B'rith. In these days, it was easy. The backup checks were not so serious like now.
Right.
And then it was very clear that the Freemason Lodge, Freemasonry has always existed, but Freemasonry was transformed in the United States because the Rothschilds created the B'nai B'rith, and the B'nai B'rith was some kind of a head organization, and all other Freemason organizations fusioned and became one with the B'nai B'rith order and changed the rules a little bit. That means Freemasonry in the United States, under the roof of B'nai B'rith, is a Rothschild Zionist organization, and their influence was first entirely upon the Democratic National Party. That's why, you know, the Republicans, they have their economic hitman or the oil mafia, but the Democrats, they have the lawyers. The lawyers are the gangsters in the Democratic Party, yeah?
It's a lot to take in. A lot of the stuff, I agree with you 100%. Even, what's his name, George Washington was a Freemason too also, and quite a few other founding fathers of the United States were involved in that Freemasonry. I think they're even 33 degrees too also, if I'm not mistaken. They were high up there. They were like the highest point. And there's a lot that, I don't know if you know, but there's like rituals in these gatherings, these Masonic gatherings. They do rituals. They summon the beast, which is Satan, and all that stuff, and they call on him. And it's crazy because the things that I know, that I've experienced, that I've heard the stories, and it's not just one person saying it, it's many other people saying it. And definitely, It's crazy. Yeah, yeah, definitely. The Rothschilds, one of the most richest families, they play it out to where they're not that rich. They're saying that they're only 1.5 billion. The Rothschild family, I looked it up and they say it's 1.5 billion dollars. I don't believe it. I believe that they're in the trillions, if you ask me.
Yeah, of course, I think so too.
Yes, and they're saying that the richest family in the world, do you know who it is? What they're saying? The Walton family, the Walmart family.
Oh.
That's a $250 billion. No joke. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that's very interesting what you're saying to me. Yeah, I've heard of it too also. But yeah, about the Indonesia stuff like that, not being involved in the Warsaw Pact and the Allies and all that stuff. I didn't know that. It's power, it's money, and all that stuff. A lot of people don't like Trump because of his attitude. And I tell them, look, I'd rather put up with his attitude and have him take care of actually America, because that's what he's making. He's making America first. That's what any leader should have for their country, to benefit their own people.
It's a very old slogan, even under this bell from this church, a national symbol is also written "America First." It's a very old slogan. It's not just Trump.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But a lot of people don't know about it. That's the thing. This generation, this new generation that is here, they really don't have a clue about anything. Just their social media, Instagram, their Facebook, and all that stuff. You know, they it's limited because that's what, if you ask me, the government wants to have these kids, the younger generation, be dumbed down to a point to where they can't think for themselves. They have to be told what to do, unfortunately. And I'm sorry, that's wrong, because it's wrong on so many levels. Because when we were talking about our last generation, the best generation was our last generation, like you, me, and Andreas. It is because if you look at, we thought for ourselves. We got out, we got dirty, we got into trouble. Not too much, but we got into trouble, you know. And now it's different. It's totally different. You know, our school system was different when we were going to school. I'm talking on behalf of myself. I don't know how it was here in Germany, but you know, there was conservative teachers. There was teachers that were actually, you know, teaching you about real life, about how to function on the outside world, you know? Because if you look at it, most of these professors in, you know, universities, high school, in general school, they only teach you for what's good within the school. It does not teach you for what's outside. And that's the problem. That's the problem that we're having. And when you have this combination of these things and that things happening, indoctrination of the masses to our children especially, you're going to have people like Antifa that are going to, you know, push against the people like you and me and Andreas that actually, you know, have common sense, you know, and want to have a country that's better, you know, that has morals, you know, that's just, but, you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, this is as they say, the sign of the times. I'm not a religious person, but I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do believe in the Bible.
We do believe he's the Messiah, alayhi salam. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think liberals, I remember this Reed College in Oregon. It was very famous because it was a college with their own nuclear reactor, but it was famous for liberals. And a friend of mine, a school friend, he went there, and there he had his first private affair because he was kind of a nerd. And now he's working for a political foundation called Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, and they are creating this Berlin Nazi-Frei. It's a government organization for, I think, some kind of a social mind engineering. It sells conservatism, but the truth is it is leftism. You know, people are being betrayed. You always say what you mean what you say. But
exactly.
The truth is this: they have changed the meanings of the words. Liberals and leftism, this is of course the same thing. And when you're talking about conservatism, here in Germany, everybody would think, like this hippie movement, we now have proof that Jim Morrison from The Doors and his father, that all this thing with the Doors and the hippie movement, it was under influence of the government because it became too dangerous. There was a huge oppositional movement, and they could have become politically important. But then they changed it into a useless, drug-addicted hippie community that had no political influence at all. It was a trick, I think.
And the thing is, with this whole drug stuff, excuse me, the government was actually giving drugs to people that were coming back from the war and all that stuff, and they would put them on LSD. LSD was at one time legal in the United States. They would have them tripping out and opening up gates. I'll talk a little bit about the spiritual aspect to it too also, because and what I believe is that the spiritual aspects will influence the physical aspects in things.
Yes.
When you start when you start messing around with like very strong drugs like LSD, acid, and all that stuff, you're opening gateways to demonic realms that you don't want. I guess you call it jinns or shaitans in the Islamic you know, ways. They call it jinn, made out of smoke, I guess, right?
Yeah, in a nutshell, we believe that before humans were created, there were beings created called the jinn, made out of a smokeless fire.
Yeah, that's what I heard from you guys.
And they still inhabit this Earth and the solar system. And of course, the most clever of all was Azazel. That was his real name. And now it's of course Shaitan and all the.
Or Isiblis, right?
Yes, all the jinns who follow Shaitan are the shayateen. There are, of course, humans following the jinn. There are also shayateens. And just to make it a little bit shorter, this link to the New World Order we have now, we think that it is not, of course, Shaitan is the king of the world, but there is something else God has created to test mankind, and this is the Antichrist, this Dajjal thing. And he's called the liar. And if you look
the Kadab, the Kadab.
Yeah, you realize that all things are based on lies. Our democracy is not a real democracy.
Of course,
2,500 years ago, everything was different. Not every idiot had a vote, and we had mechanism to correct when Parliament was stuck. We had dictatorship, tyranny, but only for a few months, to fix things and then return to a normal state. And also the politicians in the old world, they didn't earn so much money like little barons or lords nowadays, yeah? So it is a lie, the democracy is a lie. Of course you say the elections, the counts, all this has to be correct, but what I wanted to say, we, the Muslims, we believe in the Khilafah, the Caliph. And it was abandoned and destroyed 1926 by a gay guy, a homosexual British agent, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, and he destroyed the political Islamic world. And it was prophesied that this time would come when the Khilafah would vanish after 1,400 years. It existed and then it was gone. And now is the time without the Khilafah. So the world is totally under the control of a satanic system, the United Nations, the New World Order, and on top of this is this Antichrist, the Dajjal. And we are facing this Armageddon, and this is the last sentence, because Armageddon does not mean necessarily a huge war. Of course, there will be wars, but Armageddon is just the revelation of things, and then people will see the truth. They will see that many things were a lie, that democracy was just an illusion. The people were never in power. The democracy was installed and designed in a way to give us the illusion of a just world. But in fact, it is complete corrupt and unjust. And what you said, everybody's corrupt, you're right. Someone who has no religion, no deeper values, who is an atheist or agnosticist or who believes only in science, he is corrupt. You can buy him. You can. Only people who have a religion or a belief or a spiritual strength, they cannot be bought. You know,
that's truly grounded. That's truly grounded. Sorry to interrupt you. That's truly grounded in his foundation. No, I understand, brother. No, the thing is, look, I have no problems against any person of anyone. I don't look at color. I look at if you're intelligent or if you're ignorant. That's me. That's what I look at. And anybody that's founded, that has a conscience, which means with knowledge, if you know that it's conscience, that is accountable to God, we'll try to do the right thing. Okay, yeah. We'll try to do the right thing, because at the end, I'm nobody, Andreas is nobody, you're nobody, God is somebody, because God is the one that gives us everything. He gives us strength. He gives us everything that we need. Even yes. Jesus said, who are you that you know that the Lord, that these birds get what they need because God provides it for them. God, you know, He provides everything, and you even much more. And yes, that's the thing. Yes. And you know, definitely, that's why when I look at this world, and I'm like, man, this world is going to hell in a handbasket because of all the evil that's in this world. And Jesus even said, check this out, Jesus even said, whoever wants to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for me and the gospel, he will save it. And he will save it for eternity, bro. That's the thing. That's what I'm talking about.
But you have to explain his words. We in Islam, we believe in faith, and that you have to trust in God, that nothing happens to you without a reason, and God loves you, and there are reasons why things are happening. And even bad things that appear to be bad are not so bad at all. And what you said about what Jesus said,